Okay, so we're here with Ross Ingram. So Ross, tell us about the roles that you play in EEP.
So primarily, I guess I do the production and the engineering. So there's a lot of sound sculpting and helping at Rosie and the rest of the band kind of sort through ideas, sift through and figure out which ones work and figure out how to make them all fit together. I also play guitar in the band, so I usually have at least one guitar part per song that I'm putting down, whether it's a rhythm or a texture or a lead. It just kind of varies from song to song. But primarily I'm the one behind the board and doing the editing and the sound sculpting and like herding, I guess.
Okay, so tell us what got you into playing music and sound engineering?
I always, as a little kid, sang and made up songs, but the first time I can remember really wanting to make music was I had an uncle who played in the Austin Symphony Orchestra. And when I was about 5, I watched him practicing on his viola, and he let me and my brother kind of check out the instrument and pluck the strings and stuff. And I was just hooked. It was just like watching something magical, and I desperately wanted to play viola. So he recommended my mom have me take piano first. So I started taking piano when I was 6, and have been playing music in some form or another since then. Sometime in my early teens, I started to really get fascinated with the process of recording and starting to be able to notice the way that records were layered and put together and what made one record sound different from another, and kind of felt I kept seeing names. Like I remember seeing Butch Vig's name, this record produced by Butch Vig, this record produced by Butch Vig, and thinking whatever it is that got him involved in those and makes all these records that he worked on sound great and kind of fit together with each other. I want to do that. I want to figure that out. So I started to kind of learn about production and sound engineering, and then self-taught through high school with the usual 4-track cheap computer setup, then took a recording class in college, then dropped out of college and went to recording school, and then opened my own studio, interned at a couple different places off and on. I interned at Wire Recording in Austin, and then a few years later when I moved back out to El Paso, I interned at and then assisted and then engineered at Sonic Ranch for a while. I still work out there sometimes, and then built and opened this studio that we're in now called Brainville, with a couple partners. And that's where we do all of the EEP production and where I do the majority of my audio work now.
Tell us about the process of recording a song for EEP.
Usually, Rosie brings in an idea. That can be everything from, there's a couple times it's been, 16 bars of guitar part or a sound or something, to a lot of times, this is usually more common, she'll bring in a fully or fairly fully fleshed out demo with guitar parts, vocal parts, drums, even maybe some synth and keyboard or noises, and we'll pull that up, kind of listen through, sort and edit, and kind of decide what should stay, what shouldn't, what needs to be retracked, what we can just take as is. And then we just start adding layers. The order varies from song to song. Some songs we immediately jump into the vocals, and that kind of sets the path. Sometimes it's a little more traditional. Let's get the rhythm stuff, drums and then bass and then guitar and then vocal and then overdubs. But it usually starts with a core demo that Rosie brings in that's, like I said, usually fairly realized. It's not just like an acoustic guitar and a scratchy voice. It's usually several layers and several vocals, and has a pretty good basic structure of what we're going to start with.
Any favorite moments in the recording process for EEP's first album so far?
I don't have one that's specific to a specific song or day, but every song, every session, there's kind of a moment, and who we're focused on or who this happens with varies from session to session. But one of the things that's great about this project is it's very open-ended and free and experimental and collaborative, and everybody's free to kind of try things and do whatever they think would fit, and everyone really kind of pushes their limits in that regard. And so there's always at least once per song and per session where someone's doing something that doesn't feel like it feels like it shouldn't work, and it may not, but it's just exciting to watch. It's like watching a really difficult gymnastics routine or figure skating where they're doing some huge jump, and you're just sure that there's no way they could land it, and they're going to end up bloody on the ice and broken legs, but then they land it, and it's this exuberant and beautiful moment of just seeing that creative idea explode into reality and see them stick the landing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.